Welcome, this is Betty Traciak with a video tutorial for Splitcoaststampers. This tutorial is for a faceted basket that is made using the Pyramid Pals Thinlit dies by Stampin' Up. There are a couple of different variations on this project. One is to use it without the handle to make a favor box, or you can take the box and then press it together and add a tab and you can make a little clutch purse. I made all three of these items using 2 pieces of double-sided paper.
Supplies that you will need for this project are 12 by 12 double-sided paper, scissors, adhesive, both regular and strip, and the Pyramid Pals Thinlit dies by Stampin' Up, or the template that has also been provided. You will also need a big shot for this project. Begin by taking the Pyramid Thinlit dies and cutting 2 of the entire piece, and then 4 pieces that are just the triangle with the flaps. When you do that, there usually will be a little piece at the bottom that will need to be trimmed on the score line to make those into the perfect shape. I have a couple of tips on the directionality of the paper. If you notice on this particular DSP here, this double-sided paper, that this and this, neither of those are directional. So that you do not really need to give much thought while you're cutting it out using this die. One tip that I do have for that is that when you are cutting the triangles, you can put one this way, invert it, and keep going across the page like that so that you are saving paper. If you have something that has a stripe, that will work as well. You can see on this here that the stripes on this side are vertical and here they're horizontal. So you just need to pay attention that when you're putting your die down that you have this going oriented in the same direction. And you can do that again, saving paper, by putting the die this direction, flip it upside down over here, and that will work. On this half of the DSP, this side of the DSP, this has no direction, so again you can just do that, kind of fitting those in wherever. Now if you have something that is a definite direction, and that you cannot use on the large piece, that you can only use on these inverted triangles, because you'd end up with one that is right side up and one that is upside down if you use them on the base. So when you're using something with one direction, you can take a 3 by 6 piece of paper, and each time need to pay attention that you have the die in this position. So cut here and then move it over and cut here. If you were to flip it over, you would then have an upside down mushroom. The next step is to take the 4 triangles, and you're going to need to trim off the right flap from 2 of the triangles and the left flap from the other 2 triangles. So here you can see that the right flap has been removed from these 2 triangles and the left flap has been removed from these 2 triangles. The next step then is to fold on all of the score lines and to apply adhesive to each of the tabs. Keep these oriented in this direction. So on the striped pieces you're going to want to put adhesive here and here, and on these pieces you're going to want to put adhesive here, 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 and here. I've applied the adhesive off camera. The next step is to assemble this just as though you were making a normal pyramid box. So just apply adhesive to the center square. Overlap those 2 squares. And this is what it would look like if it were to be a normal pyramid box. Looks like I didn't fold on the score line right there. There. So that's what a normal pyramid box would look like. What we're going to do is take each of these triangles and insert one in between each of the triangles. So what you need to do next is remove the adhesive from one of the tabs on the box. Then look for one of the triangles that would fit in, that would overlap with no tab. So you want one tab to no tab. And the point that you're going to look at to match up is the very tip top to the very tip here. Line that up as carefully as possible then the rest will just fall into place. Then remove the adhesive from the next tab. Again, careful to match the top. That will fall into place. Then continue to work around the box. So you notice that this one has no adhesive, so I need to pick up one that does have adhesive. I'm going to turn these around so that these are oriented in the proper direction. You can see that this one does have adhesive, so it will go right here. I'm just going to continue working all the way around the box in that manner. The next step is to apply adhesive to the handle. This is a 3/4 inch by 12 inch strip of paper, and I look to see, I want this to go in this direction, so I want my adhesive to be on the dark colored side. The final step is to add decorations. To make the clutch, take one of the boxes and pinch it, and then add a piece of paper to the back. I used a die cut, but any straight piece of paper could be used here, and then make a score line that goes right at the edge, and then another about a 1/16 of an inch away. And then on this side, I just added a little piece of hook and loop tape to keep those down. Another one that I made is this little blue one, and just added a little embellishment to the front. Here are a couple different other decorating ideas, one for a birthday and one for a baby.